What is going on, crypto enthusiasts? Liquidity Citadel. Happy Monday to all of you. I'm hoping you guys had a nice, relaxing weekend. Some movements on Sunday, a little bit of a pump, something that we've been discussing for some time here, that the weekends have just been up in the air. And so going into this week, we're going to be discussing ETH, BTC, and USDT to determine what is going to be the best position for us to be taking. I'm going to be reviewing some high time frame setups, some things that I shared with you guys last week. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail of that. Coupled with that, we're going to be looking at some lower time frames setups as far as sessions for New York session here that began roughly about an hour ago, and essentially what we're looking for to be positioned so we can have a profitable day, a profitable stream. I welcome you guys. Feel free to chat inside of the chat area. I'll be answering any questions that you guys may have that are related to setups, trades, strategy, and or just education that's revolving around trading. That being said, let's dive right into the charts. Let's go into the 15-minute here. That's kind of where I'm sitting right now. Why is this not? There it is. That wasn't transposing. So this is our 15-minute right now. We can see the New York open highs sitting right around 1691, and the low is 1680. And so the rule of thumb for us is if we break below that, then we're going to have bearish. If we break above that, we're going to have bullish. We need to wait for confirmations first, as you guys know. And so now we're kind of like in the middle of that range. What's going on, Solar? Good morning, good morning. What's up, boy? Good morning, good morning. What's up, Sniper? Salute to you, brother. Good morning, good morning. Glad you guys are here. I'm hoping you guys had a good weekend, man. Hoping you guys had a good weekend. It was a little bit of a roller coaster here in my household for the weekend, but nevertheless, God is here. He's present. Jehovah Shammah, he's here, he's present. So all of our faith and our trust is in him. And we bring the same type of energy here to our trades, to our setups, to our streams. We got some good stuff coming up this week in the sense of challenges. I'm going to be running it back. I think the market's kind of calming down a little bit, so it's a little bit of a safer space, if you will, to run a 1K to 10K challenge. That's what I'm going to be looking for. And we might kind of like divvy that up, right? Let's go maybe like 1K to 3K this week, and then keep going week after week, just running that same sequence. But overall, the big picture for the month, looking at 1K to 10K. What's up, Will? Good morning, man. Good morning. Good morning. So I'll let a couple more people kind of crowd in here, so that way when I start going into the monthly, I start going into the higher time frames setups, you guys have an idea as far as what we're looking at. But just so that everyone is aware, and just in case you missed it, inside of our site, the Liquidity Citadel.trade. No, this is not a plug, even though it may come across like that. It's just letting you guys know that all the information in the sense of setups are going to be found here first thing in the morning. So you get pre-market analysis that you can see roughly between like 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. is usually when I run it. When I break down the charts, it just depends on what's going on here in my household. However, this is essentially the setup that we're looking at right now. I'm looking for 1696 through 1710 inside of that area to be tapped into again. Now, if we can get a small little break above that, let's say like maybe like 17.15 inside that area, then I think shorts might be able to be triggered. Yes, boy, you have it right. Smash the like button. Definitely. I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But going back to this is essentially where you'll find the setup. And if ever you're like, yo, I can't find his stream, or is he streaming, or is there a playback for it? Can I come back and watch it? All you got to do is just kind of scroll down here to the bottom, and you'll find all of our streams inside of here. So even the new ones that are going to be coming up, they're going to be transposing onto here as well too. So just a quick heads up for you on that. And you also have tools to identify where some live trades are going on for ETH, BTC, what have you. You have your whale alerts, and you can see your liquidations, all that jazz. Very similar to what you'll find here on CoinGlass, and I still defer to CoinGlass every now and then, but that's something that you can be looking at. So let's go over to back over to the charts. Yeah, you can see that on CoinGlass. There's a lot of liquidity that's being built up on those lower time frames, especially around the 16. Where'd that go? 1625 area. I have a couple longs that are out there, spread out through a couple different exchanges here. I'm in the lower handles in the lower 1500s. So I do want to see in a perfect world for me, right? Like this, obviously this lower time frame, I got very thin liquidity that sits right over here. But you know, if I can tap into like this level right here, this is where the weekly low is. This indicator that I've designed, it just kind of maps out where the weekly high is and where the weekly low is. And so as that adjusts through the course of the week, it's going to also adjust. So it's an easy way for me to identify and say, okay, where's my weekly low thus so far? So if I can hold the weekly low inside of that area, then I think we're going to get a little bit more of a push up, right? So this is kind of, I think we're going to create an inducement, right? So this is what I'm looking at, right? If we get a flush down first, right? Because it's always the false move. If I get something like this first, then I'm going to be looking for longs. Essentially, I'm going to be looking for those. Let's make sure SMD is on. Okay, SMD is on. And then if we come back up, but if we start rejecting here or start rejecting here, New York open highs and New York open lows, then I would cut that position, right? Or at least trim it down and then wait for the move back down to like 1585s inside those areas. So that's kind of like the thesis on it right now. It's just kind of waiting. Like you're in between these, you're inside of a range, right? Session range. So right in this current area, there's just no trade. You're neutral from that perspective. Smash the light or bring a huge hammer. What's up? That's what's up. Yeah, I was in the hospital for the majority of the weekend. Not me personally, but just visiting. I was in the hospital, so I say that because boy, I did see your message in regards to Euphoria. That's what's up. I'm glad that you're catching on to it. It's one of those shows, man. It's like watching a bad car accident. Like you can't take your eyes off of it. You're like, what's happening next? Where's the fire next? So let me check something out real quick. Let me see. We got enough people in here for me to start going into the monthly while we're waiting for setups to occur and start triggering. All right, cool. We got a good little pocket of people. That's what's up. Appreciate y'all. So let's go over to monthly, right? This is kind of what I was viewing last week. Right? I think it was Friday that I had posted this. And I shared this with you guys. I shared it publicly as well too, so nobody's really missing out on this. Let's put it like that, right? Because this is where this arrow's coming from. So just recapping, right? I was reviewing all of the previous bear markets. We have 2018, 2021 through 2022, and then 2025 through current year as far as bear market. Most bear markets at minimum have lasted at least 365 days. And essentially we've had 3 notable bear markets. And so based on that data, right, because not everything has to rhyme, but there are going to be some similarities. So in the similarities based on that, the first bear market lasted 365. The second one was roughly around 426 days. My point to that is that at minimum, it's already showing 365 as far as what it's going to last, a full year at the minimum. Right now, we're sitting right around about 304 days, which opens up the door for July to still have that continuation flush going into August, kind of start moving sideways, and then we'll start seeing our pumps going in for the remainder of the year. If that is going to have similarities, right? We could always say, you know what, bear market was 304 days altogether, but the data doesn't really support as far as it being shorter. As a matter of fact, if I'm looking at this, I'm going to go ahead and take this window frame off real quick, just so you guys can see a little bit more context as far as what I'm looking at. You know, if the data supports, and what I'm looking at here, we have a cycle wave cycle, right? That's the blue wave count that you see there. And so anything that follows a wave 5, or at least an impulse wave, whether it be a wave 3 or wave 1, what have you, you're going to have your ABC. And when we look at this from a monthly perspective, right? Monthly, right in the middle pane, you can see the same thing over here, but I'm just kind of expanding it here. This has just been on a nosedive for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 months of downslide, 2 months of reprieve, and now we have another 2 here. Really didn't make any highs, so 8, 9, 10. So really have like 10 months of just downslide. My question that I'm asking myself, and then I kind of propose the same thing to you guys, and I share these thoughts with you, is if we're inside of a wave A, we'll get some reprieve. But boy, oh boy, is wave C going to be ugly. Right, because you can see it over here on the right pane, what I'm looking at. This is the ABC that I'm looking at. I don't know if wave A is done. Right, wave A may finish inside of July, which would show us a, quote unquote local bottom. Then we move up, and then we come back down again, which, if that's the case, then that bear market is going to be extended beyond 365 days. So I don't have a clean ABC. From a daily perspective, yes, you can find an ABC here. From a weekly perspective, yes, you can find an ABC. You can make the argument saying, look, ABC's done. Like we hit C leg, and I do have that same setup on those time frames. I do, but we have to remember the rule of thumb. The move happens first on the lower time frames, 100%. It's one of the reasons why we look at 15-minute sessions, New York opens, New York lows, because we start to track where that move is going to occur first. But the better data, the stronger data, is going to occur on the higher time frames. And we're looking at, from a macro perspective, we're looking at monthly. That's some of the strongest data that's out there. So monthly wise has not given us a clean ABC. And that's really what we're looking for, right? I'm taking a break here just to kind of give you an idea of what you're looking for. We get so sidetracked and zoomed in on our charts on lower time frames, 4 hour, 1 hour, daily, 13-minute. I'm guilty of it as well too at times. However, when you have massive moves that we've seen just as of last week, you got to kind of take a step back and look at the higher time frames and get a perspective from there, because that's going to give you the stronger data. That's going to give you the more comfort of going, okay, I feel a little bit better about this altogether. So when we go back over to monthly, if wave A is done here, then we're going to go into wave B. You know, bare minimum for wave B, which makes total sense for me, total sense for me, would be a 0.382 level. 0.382 level puts us right around like 2832. I've shared this with you guys for a little bit in previous streams, but I'll give you like the TLDR version of it. We have what's called a diving board setup, and I'll demonstrate that here in a minute. But if you guys are familiar with diving board setups, you know, 71% of the time they're going to retrace back up and test the bottom of the diving board. Well, the bottom of this diving board, I know this from memory. It's one of the reasons why I trade OneCoins, because I have everything locked in here. I'm like, okay, I know what's going on, but I'll digress. The bottom of that diving board sits right around like 2780 inside of that benchmark. You know, 2832 from a fib level perspective. And the bottom of that diving board, we're talking about like minuscule distance. It's not many pips differential from each other. We're talking maybe like 50 pips differential. Not a big number in the grand scheme of things when you're looking at it from a monthly perspective. So 28, what is that? 2823. Yes, it's this blue fib right over here. It's this blue fib right over here on the right panel. If you're looking on the right panel, that's what we're looking at. Can it go higher? Yeah, it can go higher. A wave B is like a wave 4. They are a pain in the butt to trade. They can be very difficult. They can be very difficult. As a matter of fact, blow your mind on this. A wave B can go beyond where wave 5 originated from, or at least where it peaked out at. It can go into an extension level. It can go all the way up to, let's say, like 5405, and then retrace into a wave C. I mean, that's frustrating. Yeah, that's frustrating. It could do that. I'm not saying it's going to do that. I'm just giving you an idea as far as what it could do at the end of the day. But my money would be on saying, okay, well, if bear market is still here, bears are still prevalent, you know, they're going to give some reprieve, 2800, and then they're going to continue into wave C. Well, why do I have wave C inside of that area? Well, I was mocking up some zones for us initially on that, but this is where it really makes you go, damn, that could happen. Because the data supports this thesis, right? I'm going to switch over to TD9 sequential. I'm not going to change my charts here. I'm just going to give you the breakdown of this. We can see this on a 4-hour, and I'll give you some examples here after I explain this. But when we're trading a TD9 sequential, as you guys know, we have, you know, either 9 acceptance or we have 9 failure. You know, a 9 failure is when your 9th candle that's lower than the preceding 4, right? That's your 9th candle, is shorter. It's not longer. It's shorter than the 6th and the 7th candle that was lower than the preceding 4. That is a 9 failure. A 9 acceptance will be if an 8 or 9 that is lower than the preceding 4 is deeper than your 6 and your 7. So the 8 can be lower and then the 9 is shorter. You're good. We can get acceptance on that. We can qualify that for a 9 acceptance. You can get an 8 that's lower and you're waiting for your 9, and then the 9 still goes lower. This is why we have to wait. Excuse me. This is why we have to wait for confirmation, especially here on the monthly, because right now monthly is on an 8. But I bring that up is because when we look at 2021, 2022 bear market, and it's inside of this middle pane that you see here, this middle panel, we can see very clearly that we have a 9 and an 8 that is shorter than our 6 and our 7. As a matter of fact, the 6 was shorter. The 6 was shorter. Price likes to revisit these areas. It just likes to. I gave an example of this in my previous video update. You know, treat them like fair value gaps, right? Price is attracted to the fair value gaps because there's an imbalance, and the market will always create balance within the market. Always. No matter what. the bigger question that we always ask ourselves is like, okay, well, when? When does that balance happen? Sometimes it's sooner than later, which is great because now you have balance and now you can have a little bit more reassurance on your entry. But we have an imbalance here from the 2021-2022 bear market. Now you may be asking like, yo, Saint, is there any imbalance to the upside from a 9 failure? Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, on the weekly, we have a 9 failure on the weekly. So I would, it makes me ask myself going, okay, well, if I know I'm going to revisit that area at some point, at some time, I don't know when, but if I'm going to revisit that area and the thesis is accurate in that regard, what would I clear first? Logically, not emotionally, logically, it makes sense to clear the upside first, right? And what I mean by clear the upside is, not just take us to like 2480 and then come all the way back down. I think that's hogwash. I think that's weak. I think a real clear would be a squeeze into 2800s, right? We're going to go off of the fib levels on the right panel, 28, 23, tap into that level and then come back down and then clear the 9 imbalance that we have from the 21-22 bear market. Well, if we do decide to clear those areas, which is right over here, that puts us like inside of these zones. How are you coming up with these levels, saying like, why are these levels coming to fruition? I'll go back to it. Every bear market that we've seen thus so far, from a retracement perspective and utilizing Fibonacci levels, they have retraced at minimum 78 to 80% plus. 2018 bear market retraced more than 88%. 2021-2022 bear market retraced just a smidge over 78%. We're just going to round up to, let's say, 80%. Current bear market where we are right now, we're at 61%. So you combine that with the thesis of how many days are inside of a bear market, at least 365. The fib levels that we could potentially get to, which bare minimum would be 78. 78 puts us at right around 1060. Could I get a wave C there? Yep, absolutely. I could get a wave C from a monthly perspective. It would be a flat wave C. It would be a flat. And even if I went beyond that to a 0.888, if you look on your right panel, these fib levels, these black fib levels, right, that's still technically flat. As a matter of fact, let's open that up. Let's just reverse this real quick. Boom. See, 1.13 flat level, 1.272 still flat level. These are flat levels. I don't think we'll get a zigzag. I mean, it's virtually impossible to get a zigzag from a monthly perspective because it would take us beyond zero, which is not a possibility. So my analysis says, okay, I think we're going to get a flat level. I think we're going to get a flat wave C, and that opens up to 1.272, 1.13. Why are you going a little bit deeper into the 0.88 level? Honestly, this is just my personal take on it, but some of you guys may agree on this, but ETH likes to retrace like 80% of its pumps. It just does. That's the characteristic of it. So, I could be wrong. Maybe it doesn't go all the way down to 0.88. Maybe it goes to 1060. But if it goes to 1060, here's the problem. It doesn't clear the 9. It doesn't clear the 9 inside of the middle panel. It doesn't. Clearing that 9 would go beyond this 6. You can take it with a grain of salt. I've had this discussion with other TD9 sequential traders who understand the 9 failure and saying, okay, well, we're still going to retrace beyond the 9, but that 6 and 7 is still going to be deeper. And they're not wrong. But from trading crypto, because it moves so aggressively and it moves so fast, from my experience of trading TD9 over many, many, many years, I've always seen the 9 get retraced beyond where the failure began. And the failure began right over here. Let's say 870. Let's just make math easy. 870. So maybe I go to like 850, 847. Yeah, you could. And maybe we don't even touch a 0.88 level. Very possible. We have a fair value gap that sits like right around 847. This is something that we discussed last week in last week's streams. We do have a fair value gap that sits inside that area. So yeah, we could possibly go into that fair value gap, clear the 9, and still be in the 847s, not even touching the 0.88 levels. But just looking at the mathematics for it, you know, where would it mathematically go, or what are some of the mathematical levels if I'm going to go on that deeper retrace, clear my 9, and I'm going to touch into a fib level? Yeah, like $600, man. 594. Now I support that in addition with this move right over here, this candle right over here. You can actually see it inside of the middle pane if you can't see it here. But even if you go here to like 1149, there's very thin liquidity. We'll actually open that up. The open was 1194. The low was 1190. We're talking about a monthly, guys. That's a 4 pip differential. There's very thin liquidity there, very thin. And if price action gets to that level and the volume is still kicking up, yeah, it's going to flush. It's going to flush hard. So then that's what took me over to the middle pane going, okay, where else do I have like thin liquidity, man? And if I look at this level right here, open 737, the low 716. Not much going on there. Not much going on. So it still opens up the doors mathematically for us to get that flush, move into that area, and then we'll be done. Right? Very possible. Very, very, very possible. Which, if you're long from, you know, 2021, 2022, that bear market, and you have a full retrace all the way beyond what you longed at, that's difficult. That is difficult. So I'm going to go over to a 4-hour. So let's take a peek here at 15 minutes, retesting this area, this zone. Remember I was saying like 1696, looking at potential shorts inside of that area. But let's go over to a 4-hour real quick. And I want to give you guys some additional context on that. Here's an example right here for a 9 failure. We had 2 9 failures, and even I myself was looking for this to trade this setup. I wanted the 9 to be balanced and then long this area. When I was looking at this from my analysis, I was like, yeah, this looks like a good area to long. Short long end up turning into a scalp, right? Because then I started breaking down here in this area. But let's just go back to it. See how this 7 is deeper and that 8 isn't? Price went up, started coming back down. Oh, look, you got another 6 that's deeper than your 9. Boom, flush. This little flush right here balanced this 9 and balanced that 9. So I'm showing you live examples as far as how that can happen, what that looks like. Same thing over here. You had a 6 that was deeper than your 9. Price went up a little bit. Boom, flushed it. We have some 9s, 9 acceptance, and then you had a nice little strong move right there. 9 acceptance right here, a little flush, then move up. 7 was deeper than the 9, but pumped. But look at this area right over here, which is 1827. That was February 23rd-ish. And then it get cleared until June. So the timing on that is, you know, that's not something that you can necessarily nail down. It's just something that you should definitely be paying attention to. If you're, you know, doing candle analysis and you're utilizing a strategy such as TD9 sequential. All right, we got a little bit of a break above. Let's see what happens here. Ooh. Let's see what happens here. Remember, I'm looking at 1696 through 1710. I want to see what the reaction looks like inside of that area. You know, if I'm going to trigger some hedge shorts inside that zone. All right, let me go over some questions for you guys. What's up, Immortal? Good morning, brother. Good morning. Yeah, that sea wave would definitely be brutal. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that into consideration, DJ. No worries. I don't know why you can't see my mouse. I mean, you can see the crosshairs, but yeah, you can see the crosshairs. But maybe because it was on the panes, that could be one of the reasons. But yeah, definitely, I'll take that into consideration. I don't know. I definitely wouldn't quit trading ETH. I know I said it before that I would stop, but I know myself. I was I was being facetious when I mentioned that before. All right, so we got a nice little push up here. Just be chill here. Wait. See 1696. I have a nice little push up on a 15-minute. But if I'm looking at from a wave perspective, like I would want to see that red dot first. Right, I don't have that just yet, so I'm not triggering my shorts just yet. I want to try to find some pico areas. I'm gonna bleed over to a 1 minute here. Nice little sweeps going on. Okay, and thin liquidity. All right, let's see if we can actually get some shorts going on this. If they make any sense, if they got to make sense. And just a preference, my short will be a hedge. My short will be a hedge. I don't know if any of you guys longed or took the opportunity to long, or if you guys are holding any longs. I don't know that. That's why I'm telling you and reiterating, like, be cautious here. Be cautious here. Don't just ape in, because there's room to move above. Let's go to a daily real quick on CoinGlass. Let's look at this. Yeah, I got a nice little pocket that sits right around like 1713 through 1722. So technically where I have my stop loss, I have liquidity going all the way to that area. And it could very well go to my stop loss area and then start retracing back down. Very well could do that. Oh, that's an exhaustion candle that's printing there. That's exhaustion. Holding above that line. Oh, you're welcome, brother. You're welcome. Let's go back over to 15-minute real quick. You see, we got to close above that on lower time frames. It's got like 10 minutes left in that thing. Now, what if, like I was saying, what if it goes beyond 1722? What if this thing just decides to squeeze? Then we're looking at like 1820 to like 1860. And here's the 9 failure, just so you guys are aware as far as what I'm looking at. This is the 9 failure that I was talking about on the weekly. This is actually stretched down to here. That's more accurate. All right, so remember I was saying before, I was like, depending on the time frame that you're looking at, yeah, you can find an ABC here. You could. You could. And you wouldn't be wrong in that regard. But you mean, you see where we're at? Like, there's a lot of demand over here. That's why it's very risky to be looking, to be shorting here in this area. You could take the other side of it and say, you know what, I'm going to sit on the side, I'm going to wait for the next dip, and then I'm going to long that next dip. But going back to it, like, we have a 9 failure over here to the upside, which is 2451. So 2800s puts us like right over here. Just for good measure, this is my diving board. just so you guys are aware. I actually already have this set up, but I'm just going to do it here fresh so you guys can see what it looks like. You know, so you have price came down and then boink, 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 boink. That's the bottom of your board. And then you have your resistance area, which sits right here. You can, I mean, you can move it up if you wanted to. You can do something like that. By all means, do that. Right? And so then price action does this. You have a picture, you got a picture, you have a little diver. He's running on the board like in the Olympics. And then he's taking his springs. And then this is his big jump, pop up, and then he dives into the water. He or she, whatever. So this is your plunge. This is your plunge. The problem that most individuals don't realize when it comes to trading a diving board is that they'll see this move and then they'll want to re-long this. You never ever re-long a second plunge. You don't re-long the second plunge. You want to do spot buys and things of that nature? Yeah, I get it. We're talking about leverage though. So diver went up, kind of started swimming up a little bit, but it was like, yeah, you know, I'm going to go down again. But here's the point. We want to test this area right here. Okay. And that's that 2768 area I was talking about. And I believe we had a 2823 area, which is right here. Like, look, it's a smidget above. So you might catch a wick into that zone. That's the 0.382 on the monthly. So that's your diving board. Actually, you can actually look at a second diving board if you really wanted to. No, you can't get a second diving board out of that because this is going up like that. So there's no second diving board there. I think a lot of individuals that are pattern traders, they're looking at bear pennants. And they're going with a measured move. Like that. I believe I've already mapped this out once before. That's why those fib levels are already landing right there. If we zoom in on that and we look at these candles, you see got a lot of buying action going on over here. Got an 8 with a 9. It looks decent on a daily. Looks decent on a daily. But to turn to any one of you guys and say with 100% certainty, like, yo, this is where it's going to go. This is what's going to happen. Nah. The probabilities on both sides are literally both 50-50. As a matter of fact, I'd say they're like 60-40, 60 bearish, 40 bullish. So if you're accustomed to, you know, taking some risky trades, but you have strict risk management, then yeah, the longs are probably going to be working out for you. I took a couple. I haven't TP'd on them just yet. I was waiting for just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. If you guys are curious as to what exchanges I'm using, all of them are listed inside of the description. Yes, there are trading bonuses and trading discounts that you can receive by using those referral links. If you run into any snags with them, feel free to DM me and or go into our server, and we actually have the channels that are set up for support. So if you guys run into snags, you'll have someone directly from that exchange assisting you with whatever your issue may be. You guys like the hat? Like the new hat? Yeah. My little proud moment. My little proud moment. All right, so let's go back over to 15. That was daily. I was just kind of giving you guys some examples. Let's come back over to 15. Let's see what we got going on these sessions. Okay, we're pushing above. See 1698, like right, like if I would have hedged my short at 1696, thinking like, all right, bet I'm good, I would have already been round tripped. So that's why I'm just waiting here, just waiting. Let's see, 1703. Yeah, I'm gonna test a 1703. All right, I'm testing a 1703 right now. All right, 1703. It's not bad, not bad. Now it's that New York open low. I think, excuse me, New York open high. That's going to be the main catalyst for me, right? If we bounce off of New York open high, then we have a probability that we're going to be moving higher greater than 50%. So I hedge a short from 1702.39. But I have some decent longs, right? So I have some hedge longs from like 15, 17 in that area. So that's why I can kind of play with it. Good. Take some profit off of this one. Actually, you know what? I'll leave that bad boy running. I'll let it go. Let's just close some of that. Yeah, on 15-minute. Yeah, you got a shave bottom that sits right here. It's on a 4-hour, 1701. All right. Give me 1710. Can you get me back to this area? See what that looks like. See what that weekly high looks like. What does weekly look like? Yeah. We're on a 5 there. Now we're just monitoring. That's it. We're just monitoring. And that looks like a wave 1, 2, to be honest with you. So I'm just going to close that. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. I'm happy with that. I didn't, sorry. I was closing out some of my longs. Closing out some of my longs. Because the way this looks on a 4-hour, right? This is kind of what I was looking at. You know, we have a scallop bottom, but you could also view this, at least how I'm viewing it. You know, if we do have our ABC, then, you know, we have our impulse 1, yada, yada, yada. That's the wrong fib, sorry. Let me use the correct one. And you see you got a 6 that sits right over here as well too. So maybe we gotta, that's probably gonna clear it. And then we'll move back down. Let's reverse that. So maybe clear it right around 1728. I have a feeling this is going to run right into my stop and then move back down. Which is fine. I'll look for a re-entry. But let's move that up. Let's just say we get up into this area right over here. All right, let's move that over. And we're looking at, you know, sharp levels. Yeah, I mean, I could leave 618 on there. That's fine. So I'd be looking for something like this. If I can find my tool, that'd be great. There we go. So maybe something like right around here. Right inside this pocket, inside here. And then you'll get your 2. And then you'll get your 3. All right. It's still so early in the month, you know? Bum, 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 dun, dun. I haven't looked at BTC yet. I think I have a BTC set up from let's duplicate you. And I think I have it on here. Yeah, there you are. Are we on 4 hour, right? Yeah, because P-Brain's here. I think P-Brain's on daily. All right, where are you? Are you on 4 hour? Oh no, there you are. I think a lot of people are still targeting that area. Let's look at USDT real quick. USDT, this is a little concerning. USDT is printing an 8 here with a 5 and 6 that's above. So that could be the flush. So just be careful, especially on longs. Yeah, 1728, 1722 inside that area. So notice how we're not like immediately rejecting down. So that's, you know, that was an invitation for me to say, okay, well, I'm going to take some profits here on the long, so that way the time invested isn't wasted, and then the hedge will help offset any type of downside that we have. He's on 15 now, right? 1 hour. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, it could definitely be done here. Let's wait for that 9 though. We got 30 minutes. Let's wait for that 9. That's a good call out. Something to be paying attention to from time frame wise. And so it might give us like another 30 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes or so for an entry on the short. Yeah, I saw the knife here. That's what I was looking at earlier. That's what I was saying, like 1720, 1728 inside that area. And the 1 hour 9 might give that to us. Let's look at a cipher wave on that real quick. Yeah, it's approaching those areas. Let's get in there. Might be a good opportunity to start building. Because when we look at liquidity, man, like so much liquidity built up so fast on the downside. It kind of shows like people just keep aping in. They just keep aping in. What's 1530? 330. Only 72 mil. 1651, yeah. You guys want to run the challenge I was mentioning earlier? 1K, 3K first week. Next week, just kind of like restart it, but obviously instead of the bigger challenge. That way it gives everybody an opportunity to kind of start fresh, or do you want to just keep it going week after week, but just going increasing margin? Put a poll for you guys. Actually, it's this month. What? Why isn't that letting me do that? This is weird. It doesn't let me do the polls. I don't know why it's doing that. Oh, it's too many characters. Oh, that's why. Duh. There we go. Took me forever and a day. There you go. I just put a little poll for you guys there. I'll pin it. Oh, I can't pin it. And to clarify, like if we reset it each week, we would just start off with one band each week and then push to, you know, an obtainable goal for that week. Who's TT? What are you doing? Bro, you're gonna come back and revisit that area, aren't you? Yeah, we got an hour left on this bad boy. Just a FYI, like this is my main map, just so you guys are aware of what I'm doing. It's my main map. Let's go back to 1 hour. Yeah, the 1 hour couldn't close above that New York Open high. So shorts kind of make a little bit sense here. I'm gonna wait for the next hour though, just to give me confirmation though, because I got that 8. I want to see what that 9 does. Doing numbers in my head. I'm not losing it. Alright. 75% of you guys are saying you guys want to reset it each week. Okay. Poll's still going. I'll give it some more time. Give it roughly like another 3 more minutes. Excuse me. So we fully tested that. Let's go to 15-minute real quick. Yeah, we're trying to hold above that. even give us our sweep. On 1 minute. See how we perform here. I only have one short open. I didn't size it the way I wanted to. Still waiting for the next hour. Let's see how the next hour it goes. Definitely not going to long this. Yeah, 1660, 1645. There's some areas that we definitely need to pay attention to. And 1623. Yeah, because I got a shade bottom. And mind you, this is 1 minute, so. But we got a couple shade bottoms. We got one there. Got a couple here. Actually, I'll just throw on the indicator for us. So we can find them. I got shade bottom there. And then shade bottom here, 1650. And then a very large one right over here, 1630. Let's go to 1 hour. Let's see what it looks like, because that's just a little bit too much noise. Oh, wow. There's a shade bottom way down here. Oh, no, that was cleared. Never mind, that was cleared. That was cleared. There's a shaved head. I mean, shade bottoms on 4 hour? Or shouldn't? Okay. I think we got one right over here. We got a couple right over here. This one was cleared, but this one wasn't cleared. Ooh, that's 15 something. And then there's that other one I was just talking about earlier, 1623, yeah. And then 1667. So like TP, you know, take 5-10%. Another 5-10%. And we'll start looking at maybe like 50-60% here. And then look for the longs again inside the zone. Hey man, I should have sized that one. You know what I'll do? I'll just run a lower leverage. My analysis are still on X. Just make sure you're following the right one. It's Crypto Saint TA. That's where you can find me on X. It's literally right inside the stream. You can see it right there, where it says X and then Crypto Saint TA. Yeah, but it's right there. TA's there. Video breakdowns are here. Descending triangle setup was right there. Like everything's there. Yeah, full breakdowns. Yeah, definitely haven't stopped. And that's all you're really gonna find on my page is just analysis. And then if you don't want to, you get stuck doom scrolling, because that happens to some people, you can go to the site liquiditycitadel.trade. You can find it there. I don't know where you're looking, but it's there. If you're looking for like more real time, then joining the server, which is 100% free, is probably going to be your best bet. Because I always feed the server first. I always feed the community first. Every morning, every session, you name it. This is me, ready to give you guys. Come on. Here are your setups. You ready? Say ah. I got the spoon ready. I got the spoon ready for you guys. Say ah. Here comes the setup. I keyed. No, seriously, I do spoon feed. But I'm okay with that. I'm happy to do that. Saint, do you really have a spoon at your desk while you're trading? Yeah. I gotta spoon feed you guys. You gotta be ready. Big fat spoon. That's gonna be the next thumbnail. Just. Oh man, I'm having too much fun. Which ironically, man, like honestly, like it blows my mind sometimes when, people sometimes in the server are like, I have no idea what's going on or what we're looking at. It's like, all the info's there. All the info's there. And if it's not me, then you got Scissors, you got Sniper, you got VSA, you got Gus, you even got Boy. You got several people in there giving different plays, different setups. A lot of us have some similarities. Some of us have some differences. I know Scissors is a little bit opposite of what I'm looking at right now. He's anticipating a little bit lower, and he could be right. I mean, he was right last week. I was wrong. So you have more than one individual that can spoon feed you per se. I just got the bigger spoon, guys. I just have the bigger spoon. No, but in all seriousness, I do enjoy it, so it's no problem at all. I think the biggest thing that kind of gets under anyone's skin is like, it's not the repetition. It's just like, the info's there. Like, just don't be lazy about it. Like, it's a lot easier to look at the information, go like, I have no idea what you're talking about, and then starting a dialogue based off of that. Like, help me, educate me, walk me through this. What am I looking for? I didn't size my my position here on the other exchanges that I'm working with right now. I took a smaller position on LBank. I have a larger position that I'm waiting to enact here on Blofin, and then I have another position that I'm ready to start triggering on Bitunix here in a second. But I'm waiting for this hour here, like in the next 11 minutes. Not in 11 minutes, but when the new 1 hour session triggers, that's what I'm going to be looking for. I want to see where that goes. Because USDT looks like it's got a little bit more juice to push into it. Which this fib count may get completely invalidated. Like if USDT decides to push beyond this and make a new high, if you will, then this fib count is gonna go bye-bye. I'm hoping that it has like maybe like just a smidge above, right somewhere around here. Maybe we get deviation, right? It pushes a little bit higher, but ETH doesn't go lower. Maybe we get some deviation in there. Fix that, okay. Yeah, 15 minute though. That's 15 minute. What do you look like on hour though? Yeah, so you're in neutral zones on 1 hour, so give that a grain of salt. Sheesh. All right, we got those, and let's look at coloration real quick. Let's just see what our heat map looks like. Yeah, that's red. Yeah, give me my 9. Give me my 9, please. Yeah, we're gonna leave that on here. It's 1 hour too. So quickly ran hot. All right, go ahead and end that poll. So 67% of you guys want me to reset each week. Okay, so we'll do that. The people have spoken. The people have spoken. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I have no problem teaching Immortal. We actually do have private courses for this, where I work with you guys on a one-on-one basis for 3 months straight, and we take private sessions pre-market Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and we go over live setups, and while we're doing it, we're literally teaching. So that's something that interests you. Take a peek at the site. It gives you more information. There are indicators that are included in there, and anybody that's interested in indicators and anybody that does have them, that knows of them, I'm constantly refining them. And anything that I add that's new is automatically grandfathered to you. So there's never ever upcharges or anything like that, and everything is lifetime access. I got a couple students that are here inside the stream, so they can attest to it. Some guys have been students from like 3-4 years ago, to be honest with you. We have some recent graduates. Solar's a recent graduate. He's done really, really well. Did great during his course. And he's doing his thing. You don't need the indicators to take the course, just as an FYI. It's just an addition if you want to utilize the same tools that I'm using, because the tools make it a little bit easier. But it's not a requirement, because everyone has different taste. But the spoon don't get much bigger than that. Yeah. Congrats, Solar. Yep. You did really well, man. You showed up. He was there. He asked questions. He dived into things. And shoot, I think by his second month, I mean, he was giving good analysis where even I was looking at it going, yeah, you know what? He might be right. And that's the goal, man. That's the goal as far as the community goes. You don't have to do private courses, but just the culture that we have inside of our community is just helping the next person. You know, if anybody's ever watched 300, you know, about the Spartans, right? Spartan isn't there to defend himself. He's there to protect the man to his left. And that's kind of like the philosophy that we have in Citadel. Protect the man to the left. I'm gonna make an AI video that says, "This is Citadel." I would be able to do that on Sona, but they got rid of Sona, I think, like last month. Yeah, April 26th, I think they got rid of it. I think it was just costing them way too much money. The next hour is going to be interesting to see. I mean, for one, we have a very, very small range for New York Open and New York Low. So now around 12 o'clock, we're going to roll into PM session, New York PM session. Here's the thing about trading, man. You know, right now we're kind of like in this stagnant area, like as of right now. I mean, it's just a waiting game. It's just a waiting game. I'm going to fine tune a couple things for our community in regards to like VIP status within the exchanges. So I'm actively working on that right now. So as soon as I have that worked up, if you will, then I'm going to trigger the challenges for us. But after the stream, I gotta make a couple quick phone calls, and then I'll get things squared away, and then I'll post some announcements for you guys. Some of the higher up guys inside of our community are already privy to this info, so some of them are test running it in the background, but I want to make sure that it's done right for you guys. That way we can maximize benefits for you guys, because at the end of the day, I mean, if you're just taking small positions here and there, and you know you're spending more on fees, you know, it's kind of like, what's the point? So we want to make sure that cost for trading makes sense, and then with the team that we have behind us, in the sense of in the community, you know, Sniper, Scissors, VSA, Gus, all those guys, you know, that's your team in the sense of leading everybody in the right direction. And I would say, I don't think, me personally, like, I didn't have any of this stuff when I first started trading. Like, Discord wasn't even around. I'm aging myself, but you know, I didn't have any of that stuff. So what I'm getting at is, like, you guys have the perfect opportunity to ask literally any question about trading setups, things that you're looking at, things that you just don't fully understand, where there's a collective of individuals that can teach you. I don't think people ask enough questions to increase. Did you miss something? We were saying congratulations to you, brother, for graduating the private mentorship courses. No, we were just saying congrats to you, bro. I was giving you your flowers, bro. I was giving you your flowers. Just for you. Giving you your flowers, bro. Alright, we got this 1 hour. Come on. Give me the sweep. Give me the sweep. Oh, you're very welcome, bro. No, it's my pleasure. 100% it was my pleasure, man. I enjoyed working with you. I truly did. And I still love working with you. So, absolutely. You got to drop. I know this is more like hobby land for you in that regard, but you got to drop some more of that knowledge, man. You got some good analysis. You know, you've come a long way. Come a long way. So you gotta share that. You can't keep it secret, brother. Where's the I need to check on something. What is that? Ooh. I'll take that. That's fine. I'll take that. Just waiting for that one more push. And if we don't get the push, that's fine. I'm already positioned. I just wasn't able to size. You're a sneaky one. Yeah. Yeah, it's very small. Yeah, and PM just started, yeah. So we're gonna get a push in either direction. I think push to the upside makes a little bit more sense here. I took some profits off of my short, just as an FYI. If you guys heard the ding, that's what that was. I took some profits off my short. for the simple fact that the range is so small and so tiny, it doesn't give me a lot of room to play with, to say, okay, well, you know, this is a concrete level. We're not going to go above this. Like, it's so small. I could push up into the weekly high. That's that teal or blue, whatever you want to call it, line, which sits right around 1710 inside that area. So I took profit on it. It was a quick little scalp. But I think we'll get a little pushy poo to the upside here. Yeah. And that's where a lot of us kind of get stuck, man. We get stuck holding a position and get round tripped, and then, you know, you're banging your head against the keyboard like, why? It's like the market will give you that opportunity to take profits. It will. A lot of us, you gotta just learn how to tame greed. And then there's the other side, like, right, the anxiety kicks in, the doubt starts kicking in, where you're like, well, I took profits, but then it kept going in my direction, and I could have made more, and coulda, woulda, shouldas. You know, start, you know, bleeding into your narrative. And that's just the wrong way to look at things. I've kind of shared this analogy before, but I'll just share it here just for good measure. You know, if you're trading and you're going into full-time trading, then this becomes your job. This becomes your work. And I don't know how it is all over the world. I'm only making an assumption. You know, people get paid by the hour. That's my assumption. So think about your skill sets, right? Take away trading for a second. Let's pin that. And think about your current skill sets. How much would you get paid per hour to do whatever it is your skill set may be? Maybe you're good at marketing, maybe you're good with your hands, whatever. And whatever that dollar amount is that you get paid per hour, you need to kind of translate that into trading. So, like, you know, use an example. Let's say you get paid here somewhere in the States like $30 an hour. And then you go into trading and you're inside of a trade for, I don't know, 20 minutes, maybe an hour, something like that, and you're up like $60 in profit. There is nothing wrong with taking profits there. There's just not. Whether you close the whole thing or you take half the thing, whatever the case may be, like, this becomes your work. This is what's going to pay you. So for that hour, you got paid your hourly wage, if not more. And so that's kind of like my philosophy when I'm trading for myself is, you know, what did I get paid there for that hour? So I think I got into this position here on the 15 minutes. So within the last hour, I did roughly like $50 on that one trade. It's small. It's nothing I'm going to sit there and brag about. But the time was worth it. So versus me holding on to it, I had $50 in profit, but then getting round tripped all the way back up, and then it becomes problematic for me. And then you do that so many times over and over and over and over again, then it's doubt. You don't trust yourself. You don't trust your setups. You can become apprehensive. You start taking smaller trades, or even worse, you start taking bigger trades, and then it just goes. It's downhill from there. Think about this for a second. Like, if you trade a lot and your goal was to do $100 in profits each trade, it doesn't matter how high it could have gone, you know, oh, I could have made 500, I could have made 1,000, whatever. Like, just $100 pops, right? Take 10 trades. You made a band in a day with 10 trades. But we overcomplicate these things with our feelings and our emotions, and a lot of that is stemmed from um, lack of trust and fear. And if you got any of those floating around in your head while you're trading, it's not going to be a good day for trading. It's just not. To help control that, if anybody's wondering how you control that, how do I combat that on a day-to-day basis? It's SLIE, SLI. Structure, liquidity, invalidation, and then execution. That's the formula. If you have that down packed, you're solid. And if you're confused on how to do that, that is literally my personal formula. That is what I've taught to people for years. Structure, liquidity, invalidation, and execution. You have no structure, you have no trade. Where's the liquidity sitting? You know, it's way out of the way, then you're going to be waiting. Invalidation and execution are kind of going to be like within the same realm. Like once you execute a trade, okay, what makes this setup invalid? I had setups all the way up at like 1940. Right? I was looking at that as a wave 2. I was like, all right, 1744 was the low. You know, we're going to retrace. You know, as long as we can hold, you know, 1938s in some of those areas, and I'm looking at this as a wave 2. I got pushed out. I got invalidated. Move on to the next. It happens. 30% of the time, I'm going to be wrong. I accept that. I'm okay with that. Fine. 7 out of 10 trades are going to be wins for me. I'm okay with that. And if you don't know what your win to loss ratio is, or if you're having trouble putting that together, one, you don't have a journal in order for you to calculate, you know, how many of those trades were actual wins, which I find that a lot for a lot of traders. Two, you're not utilizing some of the tools that we provide for you guys, you know, as a free tool. Inside the server, there's a free template journal that you can use, which will calculate your win to loss ratios for you. It's already been designed. You can add your coins, you can customize it, all that. It's inside of the journal section. Right? It's under an Airtable link. Airtable is 100% free. You don't need to have a subscription for it or anything like that. You literally just utilize their platform. But the template that I've personally designed is the one that I personally use. And so each month you can go back and go, okay, well, I need this to calculate what my wins to loss ratio were. And you can drop your charts in there, drop your thoughts inside of there. It's 100% yours. No one else is going to see it. I can't see it. It's a template that's yours. Right? So no one has views of it. But if you're not using those things, you can't really assess yourself, right? What gets measured gets improved. You can't really measure yourself as a trader if you're not putting these things in front of yourself, which means sometimes you got to look at that ugly picture. Yeah, I lose 30% of the times. I'm not happy about that, right? I'm not like excited in that regard for it, but it's that ugly picture. I'm like, okay, where was I wrong? What was I missing? What was I hyper focused on? Whatever. Right? And then I can look back and go, okay, I see what the problem was. I see what the problem was. For me, it was like, okay, I needed to take a step back and look at monthly, right? I needed to get that better data and go, okay, this makes a little bit more sense for me. And so what I'm trying to, you know, drill down on you guys in that regard is always remain a student. Always remain a student. I mean, ETH is just what, 2015, right? Only like 11 years old. I mean, it's still fairly young. There's a lot of things that can occur. Like the stock market is forever old, and it's had a black swan event. It's had market crashes. Sure, crypto had, crypto winter, and going into COVID, we had those crashes, but we've never actually seen like a ridiculous crash. Ridiculous crash. I'm talking like ETH like at $80. Is that going to happen one day? Probably. Who knows when, but probably. Because that's just how the world works. Things crash, things pump, things crash. That's just how it works. So I say all that to say this is that, I mean, you're constantly going to be learning in this space. You're constantly going to be learning in this space. Even like a F1 racing, right? If anybody follows F1 racing, like those cars are constantly tweaked. Small little adjustments here and there just so they can go a little bit faster. Turn that corner a little bit tighter. Constantly adjusting. The weather may be different. The roads may be different. Like all those things are probabilities that you have to take into account when you're trading. Your setups, your structure becomes your car, and then you actually executing within validation makes you the driver. So in that metaphor, if you will, you become the builder and the driver. But everybody just wants to drive. Nobody wants to build. Nobody wants to build. Everybody just wants to drive. Like, yo, let me just hop in the seat and go. Yeah, it's not gonna work that way. Come on, 9. Give me my 9. Give me my 9. What is this line? Oh, you're a wave count. I'm just gonna remove the lines of that. Call me killer. There you go. Get us up there. Man, hyper focus. It's just hanging around in this like 1698 area. I think people are just aping into that. You see a sweep. red dot yet. Come on. You got it in you. This feeling right here that you see what's going on with the chart, this is inducement. They're baiting in shorts right here right now. They're baiting them in. It's got one little squeeze. That might be an exit. So I'm looking for that exit. I'm gonna set a limit for 1726. Bump, bump. There we go. There we go. I'm on stinker. And if I don't get 1724, I'm not gonna, if I don't get that limit, I'm not gonna chase it down. I'll sit sideline and I'll wait for my long. I just saw that. I need to update my Twitter payment. I'll do that later today. Yeah, Gus just dropped some analysis too inside of his chart, channel. Excuse me, his corner. Same difference. And he's got similar areas, so there's some confluence there as well too. He's long scalping it. Oh. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Come on, stinker. Almost there. You're almost there. Oh, you do? That's what's up. Yeah, it took some profit off of mine. Yeah, it might be a good position just to hold. So, so when you do add back, your average will still be lower than wherever we retrace to. What fib level is this? If I put 0.382, 1643. Yeah, that's not gonna work. 25. I'll be shocked if that holds, but I'll look for it though. You see how like ETH is just kind of like just chilling here? It's not immediately retracing down. Like,
jack it up.
I don't know. I smell a squeeze up and exit. That guy on Hyperbot is still, I think he's still long, bro. Yeah, he's 22 million in the red, bro. Sheesh. Hyperbot always does that when I'm streaming. It lags. I'll take that off. I'll do it later. Really? You're hitting a wall there? What do you have there? I don't know what I just did. Get rid of that. Don't need that. Don't need that. I actually don't need this either. Don't need this either. Interesting. I mean, we definitely have a scallop though. Without a doubt, we have a scallop right here. Or more of a V. Yeah, you're being suppressed underneath there? What do you look like on 1 minute? And you got a 9? Oh, boys. Well, I think a DCA might have been the thing. Why aren't you pushing up unless you're using that as resistance? The only thing I can think of. I'm gonna look at PM session. I think Sniper was calling PM session like tiny. Let's just mark that off real quick. Where's PM? Your PM? Let's just go orange. Your PM, right? Your PM. I think I might maybe like DCA this right here. I have what, 30 minutes or 28 minutes left inside the hour. It did give me an 8 that was above. A 9 was slightly lower, but we can see that it had like a lower high, like downtrend move. I did a small DCA on that. Okay, like, yeah. Okay, so testing New York open low. I mean high, excuse me. And then running green already. That's on 1 minute though. What are you gonna do here on New York? Bounce off of New York open high. I'll give you an 8. Kind of like a shooting star, but I don't like to use that on lower time frames per se. I mean, it's just something I've noticed. What did 1 hour do? Oh yeah, you're running into pressure there. You're running into heavy pressure there. Alright, 26 minutes left. Look at a 21 minute just for kicks and giggles. Oh, you got a shaved head, don't you? Yeah, you sure do. Yeah. I'm gonna take the profits off of that. I just took profits off of that. That was a little short. Just keep stacking. I want to see it revisit back over here in this area. I got a shaved head that sits here, and I got like 20 some odd minutes left inside of this 1 hour, and I'm still holding above the PM session. There was a little scalp for me. Yeah. Good decision, Saint. Let's see if it actually works out. Because we're already running green. We got a little tiny shade bottom right here, but this little wick right here, I cleared that. And then now we're running green. And that is a shave head too. Yeah, that's the same shave head on the hour. Or was it the hour or was it 21? It was the 21. Yeah, it was the 21. Yeah, 4 hours not really running hot. Let's see what we can get. In and out, boys. In and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And this is all indecision. You got dojis that are just printing here. You got indecision. Someone's going to make a decision, either flush or flush down or flush up.
Take my hand and we'll go away to a different place. Float on air and we'll hide away. I'll be your escape. Look up and feel the shifting winds tossing us around again. Hold tight, get ready to begin.
Those are tiny range, man. All you can do is scalp that, man. That's all you can do. Because we never broke above, we did break above New York open high, but we retraced underneath it, right? And then we tested New York PM session low, but we didn't break below it. So like, we're just stuck in this little tiny range. Like, this just screams scalp. Scalp on both sides, scalp long, scalp short. Good call, good call, good call. Got out of that one. Take my profits. Okay, good.
No control over where we go, but we don't care to know. Ignorance is bliss. And feel the shifting winds tossing us around again. Hold tight, you're ready to and just levitate.
Just levitate. We're serenading you, ETH. Just levitate. Ugh. Oh snap, I gotta make reservations. Oh, I don't want outdoor. I want indoor, bro. What are you guys? Why are you guys giving me outdoor? I don't want outdoor. Oh, okay, I get it now. Okay. Do something on my side. That's done. That's done. That's done. That's done. Sorry, I'm just doing some back end stuff. I'm still here. It's not in the charts. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get it within this hour, bro. We got 13 minutes left. These sweeps are booty. They're no bueno. Which the initial analysis is still accurate, right? Like if you shorted 1703, like you're still accurate, you're still fine in that sense. I'm just looking for higher. But if you held on to that, you're still good. But I don't know if we're gonna get higher. Yeah, with 13 minutes left in this thing, let's go to a 13. You got a 12 here, you should. It might come out of nowhere, watch. Just like... Like I said, patience, 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 patience. I got like 45 minutes with you guys, so, you know, feel free to fire away, ask any questions that you may have related to trading, related to the setup, strategies you want me to dive into a little bit more. Or if you have a specific coin that you want me to look at, you know, this will kind of be the opportunity to do so. We'll take some time to look at other setups, things like that. But just putting it out there for you guys that this is going to be the time to do so. When the market's nice and slow and nothing's really happening in the sense of targets. You and your hype. Oh my gosh. All right, I'll look at your hype for you. Did I do hype here? Yeah, hype is still in that channel. Small little range. It's kind of pointing towards shorts. But I think you got a gap right there. Yeah. Definitely shorting it. I'm not longing it. I'm shorting it.
Just to know what you knew. Restless every time we start looking as a
yeah, I'd be shorting hype, bro, to be honest. Getting back into this fair value gap in this lower part of this channel. It breaks the channel and then it's targeting this fair value gap right here. This has not been touched at all. Has not been touched at all. That's kind of what I would be looking for. Yeah, because it already reached all-time highs, and where's it sitting right now? It retested its previous high and tried to bounce off of that. So people are trying to push it higher. I mean, you do get a 7 on the lead-up phase, or actually, excuse me, you get an 8 in the lead-up phase. So if it takes that fair value gap, or if it rejects that fair value gap, that'd be my first target. This box here, and if it loses this area right over here, it's trying to change the setup phase. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's trying to change the setup phase here. See how that keeps flipping to a 1? It's doing its absolute best to flip it. That might be a good opportunity there to start shorting there, where it's trying to flip the setup phase, because it's already tested the fair value gap and rejected off of it. I'd go a little bit manual in that, just because it can actually reach above it, but then close underneath it. I'd definitely be targeting that. What's over here to the left? Yeah, that's a better area for resistance. So either there, lose this, that's your saving grace. If you lose that, see it down there. I'd rather get there. I'll post this inside the corner for you, just so you have it for memory. Let's go VIP. That's what I would look for. And say rejected all that fair value up there. Where the heck is this coming from? What? Hold on. I'm losing my mind here. Where did you come from? Now you disappeared? Okay, that's weird. That's really weird. I had a whole bunch of lines over here. Oh, there you are. Where do you derive from? What setup did this? You're a failed pattern. I get rid of this noise. I don't need you anymore. You've let me down. I no longer need your services. I don't know what you're from either. I think that was a bullish point of view I was looking at. Ah, my gosh. Okay, so we broke that. Still gonna wait though. Still gonna wait. Humanity? That's the name of the coin? Humanity? Oh my gosh. I'm gonna make an entire chart just for poop coins. This is the one? Let's spot though. Do they have it on perp? Alright, well. Alright, we'll just use this for now. Ooh, you got data. Oh, you got a lot of data. Well, not that much.
Was it the voice
the fire burning in me. All of the noise turned into choirs of harmony.
Damn.
Left me with the pieces of forever that you broke. But since
Channel 2.
you left me low, I've been high. I've been high. Lately I've been high.
Wrong. Wrong. Gotta fix that. That's wrong. Okay. So automatics are not. They're not gonna give me a clear drive on that. So you got a scallop here. I got my scallop. But what the hell are you? You won? You're a big one. Go to 610. Maybe I can get something a little bit cleaner. I think maybe. That's a really big one. That makes more sense. You can probably find the subways. That's, yeah, I mean, that's a tricky one, bro. I don't have anything I can give you. Let's see if I can find a pattern out of that. I'm not even picking up a pattern. Oh, there we go. Well, yeah, I can do that. Actually, no, that's not bad. What are my pivots? Are my pivots on here? I don't think I'm my pivots. Okay. I mean, I'm all relatively in the same area. Yeah. That's how I would treat that. This level's for acceptance. I could go 1, 2, and 3, and then 4. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, because yeah, that's interesting. Dynamics not even loading. Oh, there you are. Jeez. Yep. Yep. You went to 76? Okay. You may not even go there first unless I can't have. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Be after the math. Yep, that makes way more sense. Okay. Okay. need a 5. Need a 5. Okay. Let's look at 2 5s, 2 5 levels.
When the lights go down, I've seen hell in you, but you don't care, no, you don't care, no. You just rather watch me fall from a golden mile. I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw.
Okay.
When you break it,
And what happens if I go with a bigger 5? Same difference. I don't even need it. I don't even need it. Can't fall asleep when you're counting stars. Get it together. Your mind can't sleep when you lie. It's the only way that I can see that that works.
Now you wanna see me fall from a golden mile. I can see you at the call.
So they're trying to show you a pure Z here, but it'll probably fail. I wave X and then push higher. And then I would short. Just like that. I definitely take TP there. Actually, no, here, because there's like 1 billion liquidity that sits here. That's in July, okay. It's annoying. Oh, that's cool. They just lose automatically? Okay. That must be something new in TradingView. Heavier profits here. Be lucky if you get that. Yeah, that would be mine for humanity. I'll post that inside of VIP for you too. Excuse me. I'm not gonna make folders for it because I'm probably never gonna trade it, but just showing you what I see on it. Oh, you broke New York low. All right, so shorts are going to favor here. So now I just need to find a new entry for my short. I had a good entry. I was expecting higher. I got rid of it. Now I just need to find a new one. I don't know where it's going to come from. We'll find it though. I'll be right back. Gotta use the restroom. So PM session looks like it's pushing. I'm gonna push us down. I don't know yet, man. Cause you got this little tiny trend line right here. Pretty sure I can stretch it out further. Did I reach 1660 yet? No, I got close to it. If you see a flush, then everybody's longing that. It didn't get a sell dot yet, but that, I mean, it's a lagging indicator. It did get a sell dot on a 1 hour, not on a 4 hour yet. Yeah, tough day on a Monday. That kind of tells us Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be our money days. I have a feeling London is going to do some effery here. Hey, buddy. What are you doing? What's up, dude? What's up, dude? You guys want to see the oldest cat in the world? Dude is 17, bro. Been fostering him for like, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months now. He's doing good though. He's doing good. What are you doing, ETH? It's gotta squeeze somebody. Nobody's been squeezed. Nobody's been squeezed. Broke underneath New York open low. Now hovering back right back above it. I can't get a 2 out of you, bro. No way. There's no way I'm gonna get a 2 out of you. Holy snake. Did you give me a 2? No, you didn't. I mean, 618 maybe, but no. I'm not gonna go for that one. I think all of you is a 1. What's up, buddy? You hungry? You hungry? Nope. Come on. Maybe. We're on 1 hour here, so maybe we see something like this. I know 1965 is a sweet spot. Maybe. Maybe. I can remap that later. Let's see how we have a V. Ain't no way. Holy cow. Was that a... Yeah, I mean, shoot. Is that a diving board there? Come here. Next trade is going to come from this guy. He'll start spamming buy and sell buttons. He looks so disturbed. Why are you doing this to me? Put me down, please. Call Humane Society. I was looking at a diving board here. Sorry, I squirreled. I may be here. That's a deep plunge, boy. Damn, that boy went for a deep plunge. Holy shnikes. Bro, can you imagine if it tests the bottom of that? Oh my gosh. Just a massive squeeze up to here. People will lose their ever-loving mind. 2248, what is that? Right, because I have boom, 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 boom. This would have been my spring. You can even use that as a spring, really. But what makes me like, what catches my eye on these when I'm looking at diving boards or anything pattern-wise in that regard, in this scenario, I'm looking at the V, because that's one of the characteristics of a diving board. It's the V that you initially get. So it's this move right here, right? You're coming down, and then you have this V right here. Theoretically, it should test here. But if we don't, and we, let's say we stop somewhere like right around here, then we can look at that as still a wave one, like all this being wave one, and then hope that the wave two holds here. And then you can get your 3, which you're still inside the diving board. You're inside here. And that would be your 3. Or 5, excuse me. It could be your 3 or 5. I'll measure that out if that's the case. But I want to see what occurs here first. But right now it's got, it's got a little vertical run up. Rejecting off of the New York PM session. It's 1:30. Let me feed this guy real quick. Hang on, guys. Come on, buddy. Oh, and that would be a giga squeeze, man, if we did something like that. But this is just kind of what caught my eye. Like, I'm zoomed in, right? And sometimes that can be problematic. So that's why it's important to zoom out and go, like, what the heck am I looking at here? And that's why I was saying, we could get this pattern. I mean, the B is really what I'd be conscientious of. And that's a small B, but if that's a B, then I need to lower this X. Yeah, I know that's cluttered. I know.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll.
Okay, music just stopped. Go next track. Alright, so maybe you're not that high, but maybe I can use you. I still think that's too high. And I'm not going to do that. So then the question really becomes, where in here is my B going to be? Essentially, this would have been your wave 1. And if you're ever utilizing harmonics or anything like that and just kind of playing around with them, you're looking for the geometrical shapes. Yeah, I could see something like that. What is this over here? What's here? Ah, here we go. We'll just do something better. We'll do something better. We'll measure that. So, internal structure, fib levels. Boy, oh boy, can you see that going to 1904? I think I can work with that a little bit better. I'm still debating which one of these. I think this will probably be the better pivot. And this is high speculation, guys, like high speculation. I'm just trying to find where one would go. And I'm still inside this internal structure. That kind of makes, that looks a little bit cleaner. We need a bib sound. That won't work. That won't work. That's too tight. We'll go manual on that. Damn, that's gonna be big. That's really big. It's too big. It's too big. So I'm gonna run with this real quick. What do I have in here? Compression. Where's my 5? My 5's here. What did I say? 0.5? Why did I go so high? What do you mean to go that high? Either there. That looks clean. What happens if I bring you down? No. That looks good. Might be too much. I think 0.5 would be good. And then getting a C right around here. And then getting that pure ZD leg right at the bottom. Yeah, I could rock with that. That fib zone's still to be determined. This one's already pretty much established because I already had the pivot here. There's a pivot that hasn't printed there just yet. It won't print until you actually get a move up. Showing what price I moved to. Hmm. 1945 is just underneath that 65 area, so maybe I'm inside that golden pocket. Too much. Nope. You're good here, Saint. You're good here. Put that back. Put that back. It's really where is this gonna go? That's what I need to find. Yeah, so that's really what I'm gonna be in the hunt for. Zoom back in on this. They try to hold that vertical run up. I don't know if this vertical run up is fully matured though. Right, that's the question. I saw that like I think it was last month. And it was just holding this ridiculous trend line. I was just like, I'm not longing it, I'm not longing it, I'm not longing it, just because I was like, that feels like bait. I missed some good ads that it could have had. I'm still not saying that I'm going to be long in this area. Just, I mean, these always turn into liquidity. but you can see that they're trying to hold a vertical run up. So if we get a nice little push, this is kind of a good example. Let's just right, something like that. Definitely push out the 1720s, and then this is really what we're looking for, something like this. We haven't seen that yet. I don't think it was this. I just don't think it was that. So we're looking for something like that. Then we can say, okay, now we got a retracement. Now we get a nice healthy wave one and retrace like 80% of that thing. What is that? 1843? Yeah, that puts me in some of the areas I was looking at, like 1845, 1865. Those are some of the areas that I was looking at. You gotta be extremely cautious on shorts, that's all. Be very, very cautious on shorts. Fantastic, hit it. All right. All right. So as I'm winding down here, at least on the stream, you guys know the drill. I'll be inside the server. I'll be chatting with some of you guys. I'm going to run a couple errands here in the back office, if you will, for lack of better terminology. But if there's any questions, hesitations, things that you're just curious or at least lost in the sauce about, always feel free to reach out to me. I appreciate every single one of you guys that were here and vibing with me today. I feel like today was a successful stream in the sense of short little scalps. You know, maybe not as much profit as some of us wanted to get into. However, repetition is the mother of all skill, and so repeating that same process as far as taking those scalps, getting out of position, at least being profitable in that moment of time. You know, we streamed here for 3 hours, made a couple bucks here and there. Now we're just going to be waiting towards New York close, which is right around about 4:30, and then seeing how Asia is going to start opening up for us. As I've mentioned before, that trend line that I just drawn for you guys, that vertical run up, if we see a flush down into that, then we need to start looking at some of the fib levels that sit 1580s, 1557, even down to 1530. That would give us a wave one. Now, if we don't see a flush and we see a push up to the upside, then that tells us that wave one just wasn't done, and that harmonic that I was drawing out for you is essentially going to be that wave B. As you know, if any of this is confusing, I'll be literally diving into this. These are going to be my own setup, so don't feel like you're going to be lost. If you're new to the streams, I invite you to our server where I can dive into these discussions a little bit more in detail. But other than that, again, thank you guys for being here. Feel free to share and rewatch the playback so you can get a little bit more information that's in there. And be safe, be profitable. And no one's told you today, Jesus loves you, I love you, and I'll catch you guys.